I've been thinking about that because I wrote recently a book on the 21st century. And one thing which strikes me is that this expression, which is very often heard, no future, it's quite obvious that there's going to be a future. And we have reached a point where people act and talk as if this was something that they couldn't connect with anymore. So just the simple fact of realizing that this future is ours and we have to do to work at it, seems to me interesting. What does the consciousness movement give to the thinking about the future?
I think as an evolutionary, and an evolutionary is someone who sees the present moment in relationship to the past and the future. So an evolutionary looks back all the way back to the beginning of time. So when we look back to the beginning of time, we realize that everything started with the Big Bang. The creative process, time and space, began 13.7 or 14 billion years ago. And we realized that that extraordinary explosion was miraculous because that explosion gave rise to energy and to matter. And from energy and matter, about 11 billion years later, the conditions were created that made it possible for life to emerge. And from life, much, much later, emerged mind and culture. So when we look back from the present moment to the past, we see the extraordinary nature of the creative process in the universe. And evolution, we can understand, is like a moving train. It's definitely going somewhere, and it's going someplace new. And human beings, it seems, because of our complex consciousness, seem to be at the very edge of that process. And where the evolutionary process is going now, it has become obvious, is very dependent upon the choices we make and the actions we take. So I think, as you said, Jean-Louis, the future is what we all need to be interested in more than anything else, because where we're going depends completely on us.
And do you bring some specific view on the future, which means that do you have a kind of blueprint for the future, or do you think that in fact it's anyone's problem?
Well, I think the future is all of our problem because it's all of our responsibility. I don't think the future is predestined. I don't think where we're going and where we're going to get to is preset. We may not make it. You know, it could be that the human race, destroys itself, and it could be that we actually end up creating an extraordinary future for ourselves and for life in the universe. I mean, but the thing is that there is in the creative process a creative impulse. The creative impulse is what gave rise to the universe. And that creative impulse human beings experience as inspiration. Artists, scientists, musicians, very creative people are inspired by a creative impulse. That creative impulse is what created the universe, gave rise to the universe. And that creative impulse is we experience as inspiration to live and inspiration to create. And it's what makes us very interested in, excited by what's possible. We become interested in the possible. And the possible is what has not happened yet. So when a human being or many human beings are interested in what has not happened yet, their interest in the future is very spiritually inspired. It's full of energy and inspiration. And that's what I'm interested in, and that's what this forum is all about.